Hi Nikki, first time on board the XS11, so let's have a look at the storage we have to go sailing around the world.
Exactly. So, first time on board, the first thing I went to look at was obviously the galley. So we've made a couple of selections here. One is we decided just the under-counter fridge this side, so it's a really good size. It's got a little freezer unit inside, but it's front opening, so it's pretty practical to use. And on the other side, we decided to go with the storage. So here there's a storage space which is pretty big, which today is kind of filled with bits and bobs like preparing the boat. But obviously that made us think of what are we going to do for the long journey that David's going to do with the crew, and a freezer. So that's something we're going to solve. But let me carry on in the galley for now. So looking here, small hob, smallish oven, nice space for all the cutlery, etc. So that's okay. Then here, under the sink, there's a really nice handy dustbin, which is good, but pretty much that uses up that cabinet. Here we've got a couple of really nice cubby holes where you can stand stuff. Remembering it's a cat, so we can stand stuff here and it's not going to jump around too much. We're going to have to see for what we've got in terms of containers, etc., how they fit, and when we put it all on board, you'll get to see what we work out. Here it's really neat, but I am wondering to myself, what are we going to fit inside? Again, to see, we'll see. So in terms of like the bigger storage of food, etc., there are three big storage spaces under the seats. So if I lift up here, if David can just come around here, you'll see there's one under each of these zones here. And they're pretty easy to access because you just lift up the cushion here, like this, and they open. There are two power points here, so we could conceivably use like kitchen appliances there. And then here, same thing. There are two power points here, so you could have, if you wanted to, you could have like a coffee machine or something. And there's obviously a lot of space here and on the other side to put containers where you would store things. And then what I noticed as well as I first walk inside is that there is a really, really massive headroom. I mean, like, I'm 172 and I can just touch that, yeah? So I think for, bigger people, it's a good boat. Okay, so sticking on the theme of organization and storage, obviously this is the owner's version, so there's this really big space, which is really nice, and a huge bed. But keeping your stuff, it's important to be organized. Really handy storage space here, which is just pretty easy to get into. Then we've got a really, really big storage space under the bed. Obviously here, these are the carpets that we haven't put down yet. But if I just lift here, there's hydraulic jacks underneath, which help me make the lifting job pretty easy. And then there's like a big storage space there. So I think there's going to be plenty of room to store the stuff needed for the ocean crossing, as well as the day-to-day.
Maybe you can show us these nice...
Today they've got these are obviously the hatch covers, but here there's like little pockets that are made of really nice kind of breathable material that you could slip stuff into. I don't know, magazines, books, or whatever it is you want to use. There's really nice lighting as well, like strip lighting. There's little readers on both sides of the bed here as well. So I think in terms of comfort, at any rate, the bed is really big and it's very light, even though it's pretty cold here today, so it feels a bit chilly. But once we get all the sheets and everything inside, it's going to look quite different.
So where's the storage next to the office?
Okay, so there's two spaces. There's one at the bottom there, which is pretty big. It's got a shelving unit at the bottom and then more space there. These really handy handles made out of textile, which is really nice. And then up here, another really big storage area, which you could use for your own affairs or maybe for your little study area.
And then some as well, I guess.
Yeah, and then if you just put this back in there, that was cool there. But a little desk area where you could store like pens or I don't know, your telephone or whatever. And obviously space here to put things as well that you might need while you're living on board.
There's
And,
the
yeah.
city. You can move upstairs as well, I guess.
Yeah, there's another one upstairs, so you can use them at the table upstairs and down here. And to go back to the thinking that we had around what to do to have some extra fridge freezer space, here is a good space to put a mobile fridge freezer unit, and there's a PowerPoint just next to it, if you can show here, which is really handy, which has a PowerPoint maybe for the fridge freezer unit, and then you still charge things, etc., because there's the USB. So owner's bathroom, really, really big, separate shower, you know, like a huge vanity unit here, which is really nice, sink, you know, everything you might expect. And if you'll just come inside here, David, you'll see, if we open up here, another whole load of storage. Oh, yeah, with some hanging space, which we hadn't seen in the other part of the owner's hull. So really, insofar as this area, there is really a lot of space to put your stuff. So down in the second hull, there are 2 bedrooms, obviously aft and forward. This bedroom, another huge bed with a big storage space underneath the bed. There we go. And then a smaller storage unit here. And obviously there's space here as well where you can stand things. See, there's a little storage space down there. Right, so in the middle of the 2 cabins, there's the shared bathroom, but what's cool about it is it's got a separate shower. So it's quite a big space, separate shower, nice vanity area as well, toilet obviously. So, you know, a comfortable space for 2 people to use. And then here, the forward cabin, a little bit filled up today with the cockpit cushions, because obviously we're just getting on board and we haven't really sorted anything out yet. But another big bed. This is 160 by 2 meters, so it's really big. Again, loads of headroom. And here there's actually really a surprising lot of storage, because if you open up here, there is actually a hanging space. And then underneath, there's another space under there. Then just before we go around underneath here, there's another space under the bed. And here, as I open up this side, if we can get a decent look, there's some shelving space in there. And down here, a space for shoes or bits and bobs, I guess. So really, it's quite surprising actually how much space there is to store your things. And even coming back here in the passageway, this nice lighting effect, and there's a little storage there where you could store bits and bobs. I think overall there are definitely some compromises to make, because we're talking about an 11.6 meter boat, but it's really surprising how much space there is. So I think we need to be a little creative in the galley area, but down in the cabins there's actually really quite a lot of space.